Born in 1533, Elizabeth entered a world of power and peril. Her father, King Henry VIII, craved a son to secure his legacy. Henry's obsession with a male heir led to a series of tumultuous marriages. He yearned for a male heir to secure the Tudor dynasty, a desire that overshadowed his reign. Elizabeth's mother, Anne Boleyn, was his second wife, a woman of ambition and charm. Anne's fate was a tragic prelude to the turmoil that would shape Elizabeth's life. Accused of treason, Anne faced a grim trial. Anne Boleyn, accused of treason, met her end on the executioner's block, a victim of courtly machinations. Elizabeth, barely 3 years old, was declared illegitimate, her status and future uncertain. Cast aside, she became a pawn in the dangerous game of courtly intrigue, her every move watched. Yet she possessed the spirit of her parents, a fiery determination that would not be extinguished. Her resilience was her armor. Even as a child, Elizabeth witnessed the ruthlessness of power, the shifting allegiances, and the perilous nature of the court. She saw her half-brother, Edward VI, inherit the throne, a boy king whose reign was brief. She saw her Catholic half-sister Mary seize power and unleash a reign of terror against Protestants, earning the moniker Bloody Mary. Through it all, Elizabeth learned to navigate the treacherous waters of the Tudor court, her intelligence and resilience her only shields. She observed, she learned, and she waited. These early experiences forged within Elizabeth a steely resolve, a determination to claim her rightful place. She would claim her birthright. She would rule England with wisdom and strength. And she would become one of the greatest monarchs her nation had ever known, a queen whose legacy endures to this day. Elizabeth lived under a cloud of illegitimacy. Declared illegitimate after her mother's execution, her claim to the throne was precarious. This vulnerability shaped her early years, forcing her to tread carefully amidst courtly machinations. Henry VIII's will restored Elizabeth to the line of succession. However, her position remained tenuous. The religious and political landscape of England shifted constantly. Catholic and Protestant factions vied for power, each seeking to exploit Elizabeth's uncertain status for their own ends. Despite the challenges, Elizabeth thrived. She received a rigorous education, mastering languages, philosophy, and theology. Her sharp intellect and political acumen impressed all who knew her. Yet, the shadow of illegitimacy lingered, a constant threat to her ambitions. Elizabeth's early years were a crucible. They tested her mettle and sharpened her instincts for survival. These trials transformed the young princess into a formidable woman, ready to claim her destiny. In 1558, Elizabeth's half-sister, Mary I, died childless. The throne of England passed to Elizabeth. At the age of 25, she became queen, but her reign began amidst a maelstrom of challenges. England was deeply divided. Religious tensions simmered, threatening to boil over. The country was embroiled in a costly war with France. Elizabeth's legitimacy was still questioned by some. Her hold on power was far from secure. One of Elizabeth's first acts was to establish the Church of England. This moderate Protestantism aimed to appease both Catholics and Protestants. She also skillfully extricated England from the French War. These early decisions demonstrated her political acumen and her commitment to stability. Despite her efforts, Elizabeth faced constant threats. Catholic plots sought to depose her. Foreign powers intrigued against her. Her own advisors jockeyed for power. The young queen had to fight to maintain her grip on the throne. No threat to Elizabeth's reign was greater than Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary was Catholic. She had a strong claim to the English throne. She became a rallying point for those who sought to overthrow Elizabeth. Mary Stuart was Queen of Scotland. She was also the granddaughter of Henry VIII's sister. This gave her a blood claim to the English throne. Many Catholics believed that Mary was the rightful Queen of England. In 1568, Mary fled to England after being forced to abdicate her own throne. Elizabeth reluctantly granted her refuge, but Mary's presence in England proved to be a dangerous game. Mary's presence fueled Catholic plots against Elizabeth. The Queen found herself caught in a terrible dilemma. She could not imprison Mary without alienating her Catholic subjects, but she could not let Mary go free and risk her becoming a figurehead for rebellion. Section 5. Imprisonment and execution, securing the throne. For 19 long years, Mary Queen of Scots lived under house arrest in England, a prisoner in a foreign land. During this time, she became a powerful symbol of Catholic resistance to Elizabeth's Protestant rule, inspiring many. Plots and conspiracies swirled around her, as many sought to use her claim to the throne to their advantage. In 1586, undeniable evidence emerged of Mary's involvement in a plot to assassinate Elizabeth, shaking the kingdom. The Babington Plot, as it was known, was the final straw for Elizabeth and her advisors. Elizabeth could no longer tolerate Mary's presence in England, fearing the constant threat she posed. With a heavy heart, Elizabeth signed Mary's death warrant, knowing the gravity of her decision. She knew that executing a fellow monarch was a dangerous precedent, fraught with political and moral implications. But she also understood that Mary's death was necessary to secure her own throne and ensure the future of Protestant England. Mary Queen of Scots was executed on February 8, 1587, a moment that would be remembered for centuries. Her death sent shockwaves through Europe, altering the political landscape and alliances of the time. It also marked a significant turning point in Elizabeth's reign, solidifying her authority. With her greatest rival gone, Elizabeth's grip on power was stronger than ever, leading to a period of relative stability and prosperity in Tudor England. Section 6. The Spanish Armada, a nation tested. The execution of Mary Queen of Scots enraged the Catholic powers of Europe. King Philip II of Spain, a devout Catholic and a former suitor of Elizabeth, decided to invade England. Philip assembled a vast fleet of warships known as the Spanish Armada. The Armada set sail for England in 1588, intent on deposing Elizabeth and restoring Catholicism to England. The English fleet, though outnumbered, was more maneuverable than the Spanish ships. The English ships harried the Armada, using superior firepower and tactics to inflict heavy losses. The Spanish Armada was defeated. It was a stunning victory for England and a humiliating defeat for Spain. The victory cemented Elizabeth's status as a great wartime leader and rallied the English people behind their queen. Section 7. Golden Age, the Reign of Elizabeth. The defeat of the Spanish Armada marked the beginning of a golden age for England. With Elizabeth firmly on the throne, England experienced a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity. The arts flourished during Elizabeth's reign. William Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe, and other great playwrights wrote their immortal works. English literature reached new heights. England's economy grew rapidly. Exploration and trade expanded. English ships sailed to the New World, laying the foundations for a global empire. Elizabeth's reign saw England emerge as a major European power. Elizabeth never married. She cultivated the image of the Virgin Queen, dedicated to her people and her country. Her reign became a symbol of national unity and strength. She is remembered as one of the greatest monarchs in English history. Section 8. Legacy of the Virgin Queen. Elizabeth I died in 1603 after a reign of 44 years. Her death marked the end of the Tudor dynasty, but her influence continued to resonate through the ages. She left behind a legacy of stability, prosperity, and national pride. Under her rule, England experienced a cultural renaissance with the flourishing of the arts, literature, and theatre. Her reign is considered a defining era in English history. The Elizabethan era is often seen as a golden age, a time of exploration and expansion. Elizabeth's greatest legacy was the establishment of a stable and independent Church of England. This religious settlement helped to unify the nation and reduce internal strife. She skillfully navigated the religious tensions of her time, forging a compromise that laid the foundation for the Church of England as we know it today. Her diplomatic acumen was unmatched. Elizabeth's reign also saw the rise of England as a global power. Her support for explorers like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh expanded England's influence across the world. Her support for exploration and trade, laid the groundwork for the British Empire. The seeds of a global empire were sown during her reign. Her defeat of the Spanish Armada established England as a major naval power. This victory not only secured her throne, but also boosted national morale. Elizabeth's legacy is complex and multifaceted. She was a patron of the arts, a shrewd politician, and a symbol of national unity. She was a brilliant and ruthless ruler, capable of great compassion and great cruelty. Her decisions were often driven by the need to maintain her power and secure her kingdom. She was a product of her time, but she also helped to shape the world we live in today. Her reign left an indelible mark on history, influencing generations to come. Section 9. Conclusion. Elizabeth, an enduring icon. Elizabeth I was more than a queen. She was an icon. Her image, with its pale face, red hair, and elaborate gowns, is instantly recognizable. She remains a symbol of strength, intelligence, and independence. Elizabeth's story is a reminder that power is not without its challenges. She faced down threats from within and without. She made difficult choices, some of them brutal, but she always put the interests of her country first. Elizabeth's reign was a time of great change and upheaval. Yet, she brought stability and prosperity to England. She left behind a legacy that continues to inspire us today. She was the Virgin Queen, the last Tudor, and one of the greatest monarchs in English history. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more historical content.